There we go.
There we go. All right.
Hello, welcome. We are live. It wasn't planned. Well, it was planned between you and I. But we're here at the Power of Three Center. My name's Imelda Brewer, and I am here with Phyllis Douglass. I wanted to interview her about her upcoming class, Weintawah.
Weintawah.
And we're having it here at the Power of Three, and this is a class that is for healers, right? For people who are already working with energy, they're already working with in a healing profession.
Yeah.
Would it be? Okay. All right. So let's begin. Phyllis, tell us more about this class. First of all, what is Weintawah?
Well, the Weintawah is actually a system that I received that was downloaded to me, oh goodness, it was about 2012, I believe, 2011, 2012. And it's actually a system that assists our ability to access the unseen world. And so at a much higher level and working within the quantum field. So one of the things is that it's not for beginners. I do require that you have been working with energy. Maybe you have some shamanic practices or something like that, so that you are familiar with working with energy and frequency. You are familiar with having an ability to go into more of a meditative state. So that's really important in order to properly access the work. So the Weintawah is actually a system. It's a technology that utilizes different symbols that I was given to access the quantum field and really to access the magic of the universe that exists outside of ourselves. And people say, well, why do I need the Weintawah? Well, it is simply a tool that will enhance the work that you're presently doing and bring it to that next level. It's like a quantum level jump in the work that you're doing.
All right, so just a quick question. Okay, the symbols were given to you. Who gave you the symbols?
I work with angels, and so I am in direct communication with angels, and so I'm always receiving information, higher knowledge. I do interact with them with symbols because the symbols actually, they are imbued with energy, frequency, and light. So each specific symbol may stand for something very specific, or it is like a sigil in which it has a number of frequency or components of frequencies that allow you to access different things. Right.
Okay, and when was this given to you?
This was like 2011, 2012 that I received this system. And I actually received the direct download and also how to attune people or transmit it to people, the ability to utilize it. And I taught 2 separate classes. And then the angels pulled it, basically. And they what they did was they wanted kind of a test market, as it were, to see how how they took that information in, how they were able to utilize it, right, in their work. And so then they placed it on the back burner because it was being refined, and they were really waiting for humanity to come up to a higher level, to be able to utilize it. So it was just mid-2017 that I was told it was time to bring it back.
Okay. Right. Yeah. No, and that's really how angels work. That's my experience as well. I will receive information, I'll receive downloads, I'll receive a lot of information, whether it's symbols, knowledge, wisdom, all of it, and it's to be applied, right? Through our healing. But it has to go through the test market, as you say, right? And as healers, we apply it to our clients and see what kind of, how they take it. And then once we see some results, then we can create a class from it.
Right.
So not only because we've seen it work, our clients have seen it work, but we now understand enough of it to be able to put it down in a way that others can understand and we can explain it to others.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Yeah. So it is a process. Whenever we receive information as healers, we have to test it out first. At least we do. I know you do, and I do too. And so we test it out to see how, how we're interpreting that information,
Right.
how it is, it's not only through clairvoyance, but it is through all the other clairs that we receive our information. And so this is how you received as well.
Well, it was interesting because when I received the Weintawah, each day I received one of the new symbols, information about how it worked, what the access points were, what I could do with it, and I created, I kept a journal of everything, and then I created a manual around all of that information so that I could teach it. Yeah. But in so doing, each time I received a symbol, then I was myself required to utilize the symbol, follow, the higher teachings that were coming through as to how to utilize it, and then be able to notate the effects of that on myself and my work and what it was I was doing so that I could then understand each one. So it was kind of a progression over a number of months. So it wasn't like I received all this information and tried to teach it, but I received this information, as you stated, I began to utilize it myself, and then I was able to kind of create the class around it to be able to distribute that information to other people.
Right. And you bring up a really good point. You tested it out on yourself in order for you to understand how it worked. I come across a lot of people here at the Power of Three, and I see that beginners who are just, they're just beginning. They learn these new concepts, healing concepts, whether it's Reiki, pranic, or whatever other modalities they take. And oftentimes they take that information without truly understanding it, and they want to apply it to someone else.
Right.
And then there's problems, right? Because they're not managing the energy properly, because they don't understand how it works.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
They've been told by their teacher, mentor, that this is what it's supposed to do, but there's still that experimental phase that we have to go through as healers. It is ethical, right, for us to practice on ourselves first before you apply it on somebody else. And it could be a very dangerous thing to hurt someone because you don't know how to use the energy.
Right. And you could that brings up a really good point, and sorry to interrupt you there. It was one of the key things when I was talking about the angels had actually pulled the Weintawah initially was because of narrow focus. I mean, we're in this physical material world, and we typically, especially if you don't meditate and you're really not spiritually conscious of anything, right? We have a narrow focus in our world on material things, and if we are in a state of stress, our focus gets even more narrow because we become more prone to anticipating the outcomes and trying to react in a way according to the outcome that we feel needs to happen. Right. And so one of the key things about humanity not quite being ready was that the angels needed us to be at a level of more open focus, where we have the capability of actually feeling and sensing light, frequency, and information outside of ourselves, not just within this pointed, narrow focus within the material world. And so that's what has happened in all of humanity to be able for this to come back, this technology to come back. Right. There's more people that are spiritually, I don't like the word, but awake, right?
Right.
And able to now utilize this technology more effectively.
Right. And I would add in-tuned. They're awake and in-tuned with the spiritual energies.
Right.
And I think that consciousness and willingness to be able to connect. I think that's a step further than just being awake and not knowing, like, okay, exactly. I know all these things can happen, but what do they mean? As opposed to now I'm channeling these energies towards greater wisdom and understanding, right? I think that's when we as awakened human beings, once we realize what we're receiving, we're most likely not going to be spreading it out. We're going to be internalizing a lot of information, so that we can understand it ourselves before it goes out. And I think that's a very it's a very important part of growing, right? Bring it to yourself first. Learn about it yourself. Learn about what you know and what you think you know, and then step out into the world.
And kind of speaking to that, the Weintawah is not a static system. So it's a tool, it's a technology that you can utilize as a tool with your present work to expand and enhance what it is you're doing. But also in the utilization of the Weintawah, there are the foundational symbols, and then there are the advanced symbols. So through the use of the Weintawah, it's going to elevate the level of work that you're presently doing, because it's altering you on an alchemical level, and it's making you more responsive to the external unseen world. It's opening up a larger space in which to do the work that you do. And so you're going to begin to evolve from this moment forward as you move through the work, as you utilize this technology. Right?
Okay, so let us lead into what you're going to be teaching that day. October 6th here at the Power of Three, and the information's on there, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Right? So it's an all-day class. What would you recommend that people wear to this class or bring?
You want to dress comfortably. You do want to bring. You'll receive a manual. There is a very clear manual that you'll receive, so that you can take that as reference when you leave, and you'll be able to do the work on your own. But dress comfortably so that you're comfortable. Right?
What about lunch? Should they bring lunch?
Yeah, you can. It would be lovely if you brought like a bag lunch or whatever, so that we can all sit in community and eat. Okay. And kind of talk about what we're experiencing in the work and so forth, and then we'll go back into it. In the morning, I'll be teaching the foundational. I'll be doing the activations, the transmissions, and we'll be doing the foundational symbols, and we'll be working with that, so we can talk about that a little bit over lunch. And then in the afternoon, that's reserved for me to teach the advanced symbols. Now, it's interesting that people that have in the past gone through the Weintawah, sometimes some of the symbols don't resonate with you in that moment, but some of the symbols may be like, oh wow, aha, right? It may really resonate with you and activate something within you. So typically people go back to some of the symbols, or it's all about the alchemical resonance with the symbols within your physical beingness and spiritual beingness and all of that, right? But what I found is I just taught the class up in Mount Shasta recently, and there's something to say about the level of people that are now able to take in this information. So it was quite profound to me just to witness how people were experiencing the symbols and what they were experiencing from it. And so across the board, we were able to really have a deeper utilization of the entire system than back in 2012 when I had brought it forward. And the other key thing is that now I find that some of the symbols correlate with each other. So you might, instead of using one, you might be using two in conjunction with each other, right? To really be able to alter the fabric of the universe.
Okay. Yeah. So let me ask you about the experiences. Tell me about some of the experiences the participants had in your class.
One of the things was to really open up one's awareness and be able to allow the physical material world to just fall away, and allow yourself to kind of step into that the truth of who you are. We're beings of light. But to be able to kind of step into that space versus this physical body, to step out and to actually be a witness, then to have a higher perception of what's going on around you, and to be able to see things from a higher perspective. But people were amazed at how then they could interact more effectively with the energies around us, right? That they could, higher level of intuition, higher level of connection with things, right? So we went outside, and so you may have walked out in the forest, and it's like, oh, there's trees, right? But when you access aspects of the Weintawah and you go outdoors, it's like you feel the energy, the frequencies, you're in communication with everything that's around you. And you're in a deeper level of communication. Like Imelda's here, had a deeper level of energetic communication with Imelda when I'm in that state that the Weintawah allows. And it's not that that tool is going to, you utilize that tool in the moment, but it stays with you because the experiences that you have within the Weintawah, they stay with you, so that as you grow, you may no longer need that symbol to access that state of being. Does that make sense?
Yep,
Yeah.
it does.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds very similar to me, like when I go into a reading or a healing session where I have to elevate my vibration in order to connect, right, to the spirit, to my spiritual team who works with me, and to stay. But in this case, these symbols allow that connection quicker. Or how would you describe that? Because say, for example, when I'm going to go into a healing, I can no longer stay in my physical body, essentially, right? I have to connect to my higher self, and then from there connect to my team.
It allows it does allow a quicker access, but it allows you to release yourself from physical form, in a sense, right?
Okay.
And it allows you a much more clarity in access.
Okay.
Right?
By using the symbols.
By using the symbols. Each of the symbols has a name and a description kind of what it does, right? And so you, depending on what your intention is, you might utilize a specific symbol. And that's going to allow you to take to access whatever it is at a much deeper level.
Okay. All right. So I can see how this is going to be really beneficial for people who are already doing this. Now, I come from a shamanic background. You come from a shamanic background. So we do that already, right?
Right.
We have access to multiple dimensions, as opposed to a Reiki practitioner who is a channel, right? And I think in my experience, what I've seen is they have a little bit more limitation. So this will actually bring them into a different level of understanding.
It allows you to bypass old beliefs
or
and
systematic beliefs. Systematic beliefs,
or,
like pranic has systematic beliefs, right?
Or perceived perception of things. You had mentioned something about, often we have to go into a meditative state and we do all of that. One of the things, and I'm just going to say, one of the symbols allows you to access through intention other dimensions, right?
Right.
And so when you draw the symbol, you can go right there and see, right? So it allows you to bypass all of those things that you hold the belief that you actually have to do. Because as beings of light, we should be able to connect right then. We literally do not have to go through this text, like I have a manual in front of me, right? Okay, I got to do 1 and 2, right? 3 to get up there. We come to a point where we are there, and then we come to another point where we're always there.
Exactly.
We always have access. And the Weintawah helps you get to that point.
Through symbols.
Through the use of symbols. Yes.
Right. And that makes perfect sense, because that's really what a lot of people are trying to get into. I mean, you can get into that moment immediately. I can get into that moment immediately, but others, because of the systematic learning, right? They say, well, you got to do A, B, and C in order to get there, but that's not the case. I know that's not the case. You know that's not the case. And these symbols will help expedite that, reaching that level for all of you who are wanting to transform quickly and enter other dimensions very quickly and understand other dimensions very quickly.
And other states of being.
And other states of being.
Yeah.
So the other question I have is, could you show us like one symbol? What would be one preliminary symbol?
I'm not allowed to do that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, can you give us one part that our participants will learn? What are they going to learn that they're going to take away that you can say, I can now apply this to my practice today?
All of them. Right, there are 15 to 17 symbols, because I think I got a new one the other day. There's 15 to 17 symbols that you can utilize right away.
Okay.
You're going to learn them in the class. You're going to then learn why you're going to use it, and we're also going to experience the effects of it in class. And so right when you leave this workshop, this training, you're going to be able to utilize everything that's in the manual, everything that you have learned. And you'll find also, though, the more that you use a symbol, the more that you entrain into that, and what is the word I want? It evolves. I want to say there's an evolutionary process between with each of the symbols as you use them. So the ability for you to entrain and utilize that symbol is going to become stronger and stronger and faster,
Right.
the more that you utilize it. Yeah.
Right. Well, because there's more understanding that comes
Because
from
there's
utilizing
a deeper
it, right?
understanding.
Yeah. So the more you're understanding, and the way I like to describe it is, some people have an understanding of the size of a shot glass. If that's the size of understanding you have based on what you know and you understand, then fill it to the brim, right? Some people have the size of a highball glass, right? And so they'll be able to understand more, right? Exactly. And others have the size of a beer mug, right? So as we grow in experience and understanding and wisdom, these symbols will actually allow you to receive more information.
Correct.
Right? Receive more information that is perfectly fit for your level of understanding.
Right. And it works with you at the level that you are, but it also assists you on taking the next quantum leap up in what it is that you're doing.
Right. And that's why I always promote, and my students will know this, that if you really want to be in this industry, if you want to be of service, as a healer, as an energy healer, as an intuitive, you really have to sit down with your spiritual team like a student. If you don't have a physical teacher, and you have everybody has a spiritual team of teachers, I think it's important that we sit down with them on a regular basis like you and I do, and literally become students and take notes. Right? We take a lot of notes. So it's not just what your physical teacher has taught you. That learning has to continue with your spiritual guidance in order for you to grow and become more effective. And that is a commitment that you make to your spiritual journey. So that's one of the questions you have to ask yourself. Am I committed to the spiritual journey, or am I just curious to find out what's out there? Right? At some point, curiosity has brought us to a point where we commit, and it is our lifelong, in our case, it's our lifelong commitment. I mean, there's nothing else that we'd rather do than do the work that we do as intuitives and healers. And so that is something that you have to think about as you consider going forward in this industry, in your spiritual growth, and as a service to others if you want to go professional. Okay?
On that point, what the angels would like to share with everybody is this. Because you said that so eloquently, one of the things is that all of the classes and the workshops and things that you attend, all of the services, right, spiritual or religious services, whatever it is, the trainings that you undergo, most people take it as an end-all, be-all. I'm going to take Reiki and I'm going to stay here and I'm going to do Reiki, right? But one of the things is you're doing yourself a disservice in your own spiritual evolution and in the utilization of the gifts that you came into this lifetime to share with the rest of humanity, the world. And so these classes and things, these processes of learning that you undertake are just meant to be tools to access your own gifts, right? And then that higher knowledge that the external teachers, I'd like to say non-physical teachers, can kind of come through and share with you ways and means to utilize your own gifts. So you take those tools. So if you go into like a training program, you only take the things that resonate with you and you discard what doesn't, because those things that resonate with you are like keys to open up the doorway in your own spiritual evolution, your own evolution as a healer or whatever it is. So you use those tools in order to grow and share with the world who you are, not who your teacher was, but who you are and what it is that you are meant to do. What is your path?
Right. Yeah, and not everybody's path is that of a professional healer.
Right.
We're all healers. All of us, as long as we're being ourselves and growing we affect our family, right? Positively, we affect our children for generations, not just for like what you're doing now, like it's for generations.
Right.
So the growth that you experience, the spiritual growth of discovery of your own self and what you're here to do. And it doesn't mean that it's a profession. Okay, a lot of people think, well, what am I supposed to do? Most of our purpose is learning. That's our purpose, to learn, right? To learn about ourselves and to remember that we are divine beings of light and that we come as brave souls. We come into physical form
to experience,
you know, and it's a tough job to be human. It is a very tough job because we got to go through so many things to grow and understand ourselves. And that is the beautiful journey about being human, is that we get to experience emotions, you know, all the spectrum of emotions that come with being human, as opposed to being in spirit and only experiencing love, which is what we want to go to.
And I like to say something about that. Because I like to, what the angels always share with me is, we're actually not human. We're beings of light that are here to have an experience of being human, so that we aren't this, right?
Right.
We aren't a physical form. We're actually a being of light that's wearing this physical form. This is our vehicle, right?
Right.
This is our costume. I like to say, the angels always laugh because I like to call it a meat suit, but this is our meat suit, like a spacesuit, right? But that we're beings of light having a physical experience.
Right. And with that said, as we go through that physical experience, we get to experience all these wonderful emotions.
Right.
You know, these wonderful emotions in life that help us learn about ourselves and help us get past our fears as well. So emotions are great, as long as they're not taken to extremes. I think they're amazing. Also, with that, I wanted to add that as you grow, and by taking classes like this one, where you have greater understanding of yourself, you're able to contribute to the collective consciousness of humanity. And Phyllis, you had mentioned that. And it isn't just about, you probably wonder if you're not too connected to what that means, right? Collective consciousness means that you're contributing to the rise of everyone that is born here on Earth. And we're bringing the Earth consciousness up as well in that process. It took one
person at a time. As we elevate ourselves, we begin to elevate those around us who wish to be elevated, right? It's all through resonance. So as we elevate those around us, it starts to filter out person by person by person. I think they call that like the butterfly effect.
Right.
I think I've heard that, yeah.
No, and it's a wonderful thing, because we're not that, if you're looking for a purpose, if you think, I don't have a purpose, I don't know what my purpose is, I don't know why I'm here. The fact that you're here, that is your purpose. Right. You're already fulfilling your purpose just by being present, just by showing your smile, just by relating to others, just by doing what you do. You're already fulfilling your purpose. So continue on, and don't ever think that there is no purpose for anybody, because there is. Everybody has a purpose. The fact that you're alive right now, that is your purpose, because you're contributing. Everything that you do in your life, you're contributing to everybody's consciousness ascension. Okay? So anything else you want to share about what participants will take away? What will they...
Yeah, on that, talking about purpose, not every healer, some people do beautiful work silently. They're not out in the open. So and that's just to say that the Weintawah will assist you in whatever it is you do. So I may outwardly be a healer and so forth and do that work, as Imelda does as well. But if you're at home and just silently sending energy out into the world, places that need it, where there's things happening in the world, and you want to assist in some way by just sending positive energy, light, and love, you can utilize the Weintawah to become more direct and effective. There are actually symbols that allow you to send energy directly to people, places, things, right? So just saying that you can utilize the Weintawah in your own personal work that you're doing, and also if you're working with others, right?
Right. And
stuff like
because sending healing energy is energy, there is no blocks. I mean, you can heal anybody whenever.
Anywhere, yeah.
For example, if you feel bad about the flood in North Carolina?
North Carolina.
North Carolina, and a lot of people were affected. You can sit in your living room and send them healing energy. Healing
Exactly.
energy could be in the form of peace, right?
Right.
It could be in the form of
Just sending love.
sending love, sending comfort. You can sit in your living room with that intent and utilizing the symbols. You'll know that energy is being sent to the hearts and souls of those people that were affected.
It helps to strengthen your intention.
Right.
Right.
The intention is
Yeah.
everything.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Your intention is everything. So it everybody can help our brothers and sisters in other parts of the world. And all you have to do is turn on the TV and see, okay, I've got some time right now. I'm going to make some time right now, half an hour, to send loving energy to my brothers and sisters. Let me see what's going on TV, what's going on in the news.
Right.
Where are people suffering, right? Because we live a very luscious life here in California, in the United States as a whole. And pick a place that you want to send energy to. And do it for half an hour, do it for 15 minutes. And
Do it for 5 minutes.
Do it for 5 minutes, right.
Exactly.
And know that because you're spending that time, you're carving out that time in your schedule to send loving energy to others, that you are fulfilling part of your purpose because you're serving others from that.
And that kind of
place.
things like a final thing about the Weintawah is that who you're utilizing it on or what, right? It can be remote as well. You don't have to be there.
Oh, of course,
Right?
yeah.
So you can
That's
utilize
for
these
sending
symbols
energy.
pretty much for anything. Yeah.
Yeah, energy is energy and it travels. There's no space and time when it comes to energy. All
Yes.
right. Thank you very much, Phyllis.
Thank you, everyone, and I
Please
hope to see you in class.
Yes, please. So if you want to register for this class, if you're a healer, you're an energy worker, this is for people who already understand these concepts, right?
Correct.
Okay. Would you give them the prerequisites for this class? Just let them know what the prerequisites are.
Prerequisites really are that you understand energy. So if you are a shamanic practitioner or you're doing some form of energy healing, that's great. You just need to be able to feel and experience energy, right? And then just come with an open mind. The Weintawah is really going to be as effective as your curiosity, imagination, and willingness to let go and take it as far as it will go, right? It'll only work with you as far as you wish to take it. So that's why I like to say intermediate, more advanced students, so that you can really utilize it to a more effective level with that understanding. Yeah. If you've never done energy work, you're not going to get as far, right? Because you're still playing with some of the concepts of what it is. And so that's really the only prerequisite, and open mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the class is 222?
Yep. Class is 222.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the class is going to be held here at the Power of Three Center, 1125 East 16th Street in Upland, California, on October the 6th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Cost is $222, and we require that you pre-register, please, because we need to know how many
How many manuals and so forth are needed.
she's going to need. And we also have to plan ourselves for sitting and such. So please let us know. You can call us at 909-921-0332 to register, or you can register at power3center.com. Go to the classes section on our tab and register there. We'll send you an email letting you know that you've been registered, and you can always call us or text us or email us and let us know what it is. If you have any questions about the class and what else you should bring a notebook, bring a pen.
Yep, definitely.
Okay. Would you recommend that they record some of this, or would you rather them just write?
Just write. Yeah, where it's more experiential, because you'll have the manual with you. So we're really going to learn the symbols, work with the symbols, experience the symbols, and you'll have all the notes. You'll have everything you need. So you can jot a couple things down. Typically, new information might actually come through, and that's happened, and I'll say, write this down. But other than that, you'll have everything you need, and I want you to come and have the experience. Right?
All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right. And
Phyllis.
thank you, everyone.
Thank you, and we'll see you hopefully on October the 6th. Okay, register, pre-register, very important. Thank you. I'm going to lean in and push this.